Um, fall pricing with the short-term shop. Welcome. It is starting to feel like fall where I am. It's raining a lot. It's hurricane season in full effect in the panhandle of Florida.
Yeah, trust me, I know. I'm here too.
You're just down the road, right, in Alabama?
Yeah, it's fucking pouring.
All right, we're live. Watch the F-bombs. Where am I? Oh, price labs. Fall pricing. Okay, cool. So, guys, there's a couple of things we need to talk about here as we are cruising into, really, it's already fall as far as this business is concerned. I like to think of it like Hobby Lobby. If you walk into Hobby Lobby or like a Walmart even this time of year, they've already got Christmas stuff, and it's almost a little late to be even worried about Halloween. So if you are going live now on a property, it's going to be a different conversation than if you're already established and have quite a few reviews. I do think that it is difficult to fill in. It's difficult to fill in August and in September regardless in many markets because of the back to school. There may be exceptions to that rule in certain areas, but in most vacation markets, August is when people kind of stop going on vacation, and the calendars are a little more difficult to clear up. So I actually had some issues this year where I did focus on September quite a bit early on, and I found that my Septembers looked pretty good, and I didn't do much with August, and so my August did not quite fill in. And again, Tim, you were talking about this a minute ago. You called it tickling your pricing. Talk about that. And then we'll just go around a little bit, and then we'll share some calendars here and think and talk about what we think about them.
Yeah, so fall, definitely, you're going to get a lot more weekends booked and a lot less in the week, and you're even going to have some weekends that might be open. So in the summer, kind of follow the 6-week rule a lot more, but in the fall, as we're getting close, even like within a week out, I call it tickling the prices. My wife laughs at me every time too, but I go into Price Labs and looking at what's open in the next week. If I got stuff open next week and a half, I am aggressively daily playing with those dates until they book, and just move them up a little bit, move them down a little bit. And I just do the function where you can kind of override everything and do a plus or minus on the percentage base on Price Labs. And it's shocking how many of those booked up doing that. Just, literally sometimes within a half an hour doing it, they'll book. So it's just getting in there and moving your prices around.
You're muted, Luke.
Aggressive. So when you say a percentage, explain that to me, or if you have screen share available, that would.
I don't have it up right now, but in Price Labs, when you go in and do the override, I'll pull it up. You can do it percentage based, or you can just set a dollar amount. So I'll pick a range of dates. Usually it's like going to be, doing this method, it's going to be, maybe 3-4 days. I'm not getting into like weeks here. And so you can pick the range of days, and it has a price override, and you can just put in you can pick percentage based, and you can go up 10%, down 10%, 5%, whatever you want to do, and raise and lower your prices that way just a little bit. And it'll do it across those. That way your prices for each day aren't going to be identical. It's not going in and putting $99 in every day. It does it, whatever Price Labs is recommending, it's taking it up or down a percentage of those. So.
And I guess we should introduce ourselves here. Tim, if you don't mind, pull that up. I am going to have you share your screen and show us exactly what you're talking about. But this is the short-term shop, guys, and we specialize, of course, in short terms, and we sell them. We sell the homes and teach folks how to put them on Verbo and make a living with it, which is great. So we're happy to have you here with us. Of course, the shorttermshop.com. Derek, if you don't mind, can you explain to me what briefly what the 6-week rule is and your thoughts on whether, because it is a rather, at this point it's a little older now. A couple of years ago we kind of put that out, and is it still relevant today, and what's your take on the 6-week rule?
So the premise of the 6-week rule is that if you are staying fairly consistently booked out between 5 and 6 weeks, then that means your pricing is pretty well dead on. If you're booking out much farther than that, you're too cheap, you need to raise your prices. If you're not booking out 5 to 6 weeks, you're probably too expensive. You need to get in there and lower your prices. That's the premise of it. I think last year it was definitely held very true. I think this year we have found it to be more of a 3-week rule is what I've seen, is things stay consistently priced out about 3 weeks. I think people are waiting a little more last minute. So like everything else, I think you always have to modify. I think the 6-week rule is like the 1% rule. It tells you that it's a very generic, basic rule that you can look at as one point to say, if I'm doing this, then I'm good. But doesn't mean if you're not, you're bad. It just means you need to get in there and keep tweaking. And I do think most of the people I'm talking to are not seeing 6 weeks this year, no matter how properly priced they are. So I don't think it's as relevant as it was, but I still think it's a good baseline to base everything you're doing on.
I agree. I think it will come back around. Now, that being said, well, two things there. We do want to mention that statistically, worldwide, and I got this number directly from Airbnb, 90% of all vacations take place 30 days in advance or less. So you can look at a calendar that is completely empty, all just nothing but white spaces, anywhere from 31 days forward from now, and have a very lucrative property. But you don't really realize it because you're like, holy crap, this house is not booked. This is a dog, you know? So we used to find that in vacation markets where, you know, people would maybe be planning this ahead and a little bit more, and it's a bigger event in their life than just going to, you know, somewhere for work and in a metro market, that kind of thing. The 6 week thing was, it did apply. And I agree. I think that it is, this year in particular, it's maybe not as 6 week ish. Maybe it's back down to that 30 days, maybe even 3 weeks in some cases. Hell, maybe even 2 weeks on a small property. I'm seeing with my little baby property, I've got a tiny home, which is a catchword these days, but I have one. It's 550 square feet. I think I would call that a tiny home. It does not have any doors other than the commode. And that thing is like super last minute. And that's pretty normal. You know, the smaller the property, generally, you're going to get filled up real kind of last minute, no problem. And with a larger property, you may not get filled up as last minute because, you know, it might take 2-3 families to book that house, and to get all those people together and coordinate can be kind of a pain in the rear end. So 6 week rule in a nutshell. Tim, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. It's being really laggy here on me. So if we'll see how it goes. Give me 1 second here.
Tickle it.
I'm tickling it, and I'm having internet issues or something.
Oh, go ahead, Yak.
I'm gonna go ahead and share it.
Hold on, go ahead, Yak.
No, I was just going to add, kind of, you know, playing devil's advocate, Luke, and going toward what Derek was saying. I feel like the 3 week rule, you know, as we go down, just, you know, me, if I'm booking, let's just say concert tickets or football game tickets, I wait till the last moment because I feel like I can get a deal. And now that I'm not having to call an agency or anything like this, now that you can do everything from your phone, I feel like that 3 week period is really going to be the kind of the new normal as opposed to 6 weeks, because it is just so much easier to book now through a phone versus, you know, what it was even, you know, 3 years ago. So again, I would say to everybody, be more dynamic, you know, like Tim is, do the tickling 3 weeks out as opposed to 6 when you're looking at your overall calendar.
Yeah, the tickle. And the system maintenance is on Price Labs right now. I'll just point out briefly that this is Price Labs. All the guys on this call use Price Labs. Here at the shop, of course, we specialize in short term, and we've sold thousands and thousands of properties for vacation rentals. And we're very happy to have you guys as clients and appreciate you and everything that you do for the community. Everybody out there listening, watching, Facebook, thank you. So anyway, this is Price Labs.
So
and at the bottom of the screen there, you see the system maintenance. We can't get rid of that. I tried to X out on that on mine, and it wouldn't let me. So
I'm gonna note these. I just went through all these, and they're all pretty booked. So I've been doing this pretty aggressively. So, but I'll show you what it means anyway. So,
hold on. Give me, what is this house? So bedrooms, bath. Where is
this? This is a 3-2 in the Smokies.
Okay.
Small 3-2, 1,300. It's a small one.
Okay.
So, as you can see, these right here are in the dirt. But we're gonna open this up, so you can just click on the day. And it's thinking, and you can put a date, rate, range in here.
Yeah, Price Labs moves rather slow when it's not on a screen share. So
yeah,
that's something to consider.
But basically, when you open it here, you're gonna see this price settings here, and you can do a percentage based on the rate. And here you can, you know, if I want to add, you know, add 10%. It's going to do that. And again, see this date range opens here. There we go. So I'm going to put it for these 3 days. And you can go in, you can change minimum, maximums. You can actually change your stay restrictions here as an this is all just override. So you're picking a range of dates to override. You can change the restrictions there. You can actually put notes in here for yourself. And it actually tells you down here at the bottom, it'll give you like a summary of, if you do this, that's kind of what your total is going to be if those 3 days got booked. So if you do that, you click add, it's going to put it on there. So there you can see it on there. You still have to do a hit sync now. You can hit save and refresh and it's going to change the prices. I probably shouldn't have done that because it's going to take forever, but it'll pop up with the new prices in there. You got to pop forward. It always goes back to the last, whatever month it is now. So there, it changed the prices up so you can see what they are. Okay, I like it. And you hit sync now and it sends it off. So I'm going in, like, I'm not messing with these yet because that's out too far, but I just did it for the rest of August and it filled everything in, except for, it's September. So, anyway, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm really happy with it. Actually, it's maybe a little too far into October. So, but yeah.
Yes, a couple points I'd like to make here. The reason, one note on the way he's doing it there versus a lot of times what I'll do is just the black line override at a certain dollar figure and just put a price right there where he's showing, Tim, if you can put
Yeah, so fixed right there. Yeah,
a lot of times I'll just do a fixed rate. The downside of doing it that way is it doesn't change. If you were to do it the way he just showed it, then every night Price Labs would update the price just a little bit and a little mini tickle. I mean, I love my manual override fixed prices. I do them very often, but doing the percentage is also a pretty cool little trick. And Tim, last note here, your calendar looks, I mean, this is perfect for me on a 3-bedroom. I don't mind having a few empty holes in September. I don't need 100% in September.
And those are probably booked. I will, if it gets to be like, once we get to like, this is like 31st is today, or, somewhere in here, I'm going to be playing with these dates if they're not full. I'll be tickling them. So I'll be hitting up that weekend and making sure that gets booked, and it probably will, but I'm not messing with it yet. So. Right.
So this to me looks perfect. I would personally, if it was my house, I think I'd do it. That 18, 19, 20 at a 10% discount, or not discount's not the right word, but reduction versus increase. I think he was just basically explaining how that works.
Yeah. And I go both, like if it's getting close, like I don't just keep going down until I hit a basement. I mean, you can, but I'll go down for 2 or 3 days and then I'll pop it back up a little bit, just trying to hit the algorithm, so.
Yeah. So since we're doing a fall special here and basically trying to prepare ourselves for winter and storing nuts, go forward a little bit here. How's our October?
October is pretty slammed.
And
November,
you guys are all probably... you're all in mountain markets with the exception of myself and Derek. We're in both mountain and beach markets. Across the board, October is rather easy, right? Especially in the mountains, guys.
Yeah.
Yep. Mountains in particular, nothing to worry about in most of our mountain markets. And you can actually get a bit of a premium for the month of October. On the beach, we do have the benefit of fall breaks. So there's about a 2-week period. If you can go back one screen to October there, Tim. In October, we've got generally about a 2-week period of fall breaks that are going to take place. And so we can even get some traction on the beach. Now, I will say that I think, as a whole, this is October here that we're looking at is probably a little too booked. And that is pretty common because we spend so much time focusing on August and September that all of a sudden October got booked up at those prices that we were targeting for September and October, or maybe a little higher. But if Price Labs price them, would theoretically price them a little higher anyway.
Yeah, and my October for this property is way up from last year, but I had it too cheap last year. I got some $450 nights in here, not a lot, but but yeah, it's too booked right there. November is actually a little heavy right now for me too. I mean, it's my weekends are already kind of filled in except for Thanksgiving. I got blocked out, or it's not blocked. I've got it up there too high, and it might book at that. I think last year it was close to that. So.
And what you have right here, the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, those dates are not easy to book. So those, I don't mind getting those as far in advance as we are. You probably had them pretty rock bottom. There's a 197 there on the 7th.
Yeah.
Would you consider that probably about the lowest you're ever going to go on this 3-bedroom, or will you dabble in the 175 area?
I've actually dabbled around 150, but not much. I've got my minimum at 145. It hardly ever goes there unless I push it there. So.
And you're referring to, if you can put your cursor
That
here
would
on the
be
top
that.
left.
Yeah, that would be more of a January, February situation. If I'm really hurting, I'll consider that, but it never really goes there on its own.
And how often are we tickling the min base? And do you ever put a maximum, or do you always leave it empty?
It depends on the property. The beach, I do put a maximum. My beach stuff puts ridiculous numbers in there. If I don't put a maximum, like it wouldn't book. And I've got stuff that's kind of beachfront, or it is beachfront, and it's a 1-bedroom condo, and I was getting, without a maximum there, I was hitting like 700-800 a night, which it wouldn't book. So I do have a maximum there. So as far as the minimum base, that's more like once a month I'm playing with that. So I don't play with that all the time.
I do play with my min base at least weekly, if not twice a week. Is this an air gun in the background in your video? Are you?
that is an air gun. There is a trim going up.
Rehab in progress as we speak at the Shea Tim over there. All right, let's go. We'll hit me with December real quick before we change the subject.
So I got nothing so far.
Which is totally fine.
Which is totally fine. Yeah, that doesn't worry me at all. Not even slightly. I'm not even thinking about December yet. So, we'll go on this topic, but it's not going to be long. I'm thinking about January and February. I'm going to be more worried about that than I am December.
Absolutely. And 5.9 minimum on Christmas and New Year's. I agree there. I think that's probably right where I'd put it. Yep. Anything in just where are you as far as availability in the advanced here? Go to January, February. Are we open till when?
Should be February. Oh, this one might be further. I lied. I don't know why this is open so far.
You got a 12-month availability here.
Yeah, on this one I must.
So one note on that, guys, if you want to do a custom availability, which is what I like to do, Tim, you can stop your screen share for now. The best way to do that is on Airbnb and Vrbo. Select there's an option for 3, 6, 9, 12. And there's also an option for no availability, and then there's another option for, I don't know the name of it, and it's different on both platforms, for indefinite availability. And that's the way I like to do it. So I like to do custom availability in advance. So right now I have all my properties, even beach, mountain, doesn't matter where they are. March 1st indefinitely is blocked because I have no interest in even getting bookings on those dates yet. Those dates are generally very valuable and easy to book, and especially second, third week of March on, basically for the rest of the summer. So really right now, if we do a 6-month availability, it takes us like to the end of February, somewhere in that area. We're end of August right now, off the top of my head. Maybe it's end of January. I might be off by a month, but I want to be completely available until the end of February, last day of February, and then completely unavailable March 1st on. And the only way to do that without screwing up your calendars is you do indefinite availability on both Airbnb and Vrbo. You're going to your calendar, clicking settings, and then availability. Pick the one that says, all the way into the future, both platforms. Then you go on your management software. I use Hospitable right now. I've used them all. And then you can block off whatever dates you don't want to book. And then that way your calendar is basically custom availability. If you tried it, by the way, I bring up this long drawn out story because if you click the 12-month availability and then try and go block days off on your Hospitable, your Guesty for Host, there will be errors. It will try to continue to open your calendar. So pick that indefinite. I don't remember getting the term off the top of my head, but on Airbnb and Vrbo, and that's the best way to pick whatever availability you want. All right, I'm going to pull up one of my properties. Let's go to a beach. Something quite the opposite of Mr. Tim's home that he just showed, and we'll walk through this one, and you guys can help me and kind of tell me what you think about this thing. This is I'll show you the house. It's here. It's a 4.5, 3,000 square foot in Destin, 2 blocks from the beach. Very beautiful home that we've put a lot of sweat and blood and tears into over the years, and it's just a lot of memories just even looking at these pictures. It's a beautiful home at this point, and we're very happy to have it, and it does perform, just extremely well. This is 160 grand, maybe even 170, 80 grand a year gross income on this property in Destin, Florida. So my min is 299 and my base is 399. I will, guys, again, personally, I go a little low. A lot of folks think that I go too low on my prices. And Derek, if you've got a screen share you'd like to do here in a minute, that'd be awesome. If you have the availability to do so, just give you a heads up. But if not, that's cool too. I will go to 279 on this house in the the depths of winter, January and February. I don't like to, because that's where, there is a number generally where the riffraff kind of starts coming in. I'm less concerned with that as I used to be, quite frankly. I've been through it all a million times at this point, and I'm okay with maybe going lower than I should at times. But of course, the hard part is, that's the easy part. The hard part is getting the high numbers. Where's that sweet spot? Where do I leave this price for long? How long is too long to leave this price way up here and then start tickling it down, as Tim would say. This one's an extenuating circumstance. I actually had some rehab done on that home. This was actually a booking. And I had to cancel it, unfortunately, and we just opened that back up. So I did have that booked, and I don't expect it to book at this point. This house is probably a little too big, and this is a little too August, probably, to get these dates booked. Anything's possible, but I'm okay with leaving them. I'm very happy with this September, frankly, on this home. If you guys disagree, I'd love to hear it. These numbers I could tickle for sure. Like, I could totally do, like, these dates here are really not very desirable. We're after Labor Day. It's a weekday. They're all week. Well, we do have a Saturday involved there, I suppose. But I think that Tim's idea to do the percentage down is not a bad idea. So we could do like I don't know, just made that number up. 18%. On that one. Again, these dates you see here are the same dates we saw on that other page. So these are most likely not going to get booked, but I'm going to go ahead and do like a manual 289. And I could take it so far as to, it's saying that it's lower than my minimum is why it said that. I could take this so far as to go to my listing and say, hey, end of August special 289, if I wanted to really, really blow this thing out. That's a lot of work, but it probably would get me some traction. And here again, at this point, what I'm seeing, guys, on this one is that I maybe need to lower my base, because we might be out of the 399 base in this market on this house. Like, I don't really see the first couple of weeks in November getting booked for 419. So maybe it's time to wiggle this one down to somewhere along those lines. Of course, you guys know if we hit refresh, it takes forever. But again, now we're just I'm just walking through what I hear or what I see in my brain when I'm looking at a calendar. And I'll be honest, I'm pretty happy with this calendar. This property has performed well this year. I did do a lot of rehab on this property. I had a new driveway installed. I had their pool redone, and 3 bathrooms completely remodeled. So I won't hit last year's gross income on this thing, but guess what that means? That means 23. With the new pool and the new driveway and the new pictures and the new bathrooms, I'm going to absolutely destroy it, and sometimes we got no choice. You got to get in there and do some bathrooms and things like that every now and then. October looks pretty good, half full. No Thanksgiving yet, but I'm okay with that. If anything, maybe I drop it to a 5 night, but I don't think I even want to touch it right now. We're far enough in advance that I think that these numbers are pretty decent. And again, I've got March 1st across the board on all my properties as of right now, which is the end of August here at the short-term shop. Anybody have any notes, or if Derek wants to take over?
I'll share one. I was just looking through mine because I had a bunch of stuff in there. So I'm actually, it's towards the end of the week. Every week I've tried to get in the habit of doing what you guys are talking about. I like tickling like Tim does. I'm just not doing it daily, but I've been just dropping down. I haven't been removing and then going back up. And I mean, even if you just do that for a half a day or for a few hours, I think it helps because it just shows activity. So anyway, yeah, I'll pull this up.
By all means.
So this is the one this is my best property. This is my best performing property as far as occupancy, easiest to book. It is a 1-bedroom plus loft, so it sleeps 6. It's got a queen bed in the loft, and it's got a sleeper sofa. It's got amazing views, and it's in Sevierville. So it's really very convenient to Pigeon Forge. It's on Bluff Mountain Road, if anybody's familiar with the Bluff Mountain area, but it's got incredible views. The one negative about it is there's a power pole right in the middle of the view. Luke, you're familiar with that, having one of those. And it's taken me a year, but I actually talked to Sevier County Electric today, and I'm actually looking into getting the pole moved. It's going to cost me probably about $5,000 to move that pole. And I think it's worth it. I think I am going to make money. Go, Luke. You had a question.
Was going underground at all an option, or was that
No,
okay?
no, we're way up there on the hill, but I can move it over to the other side of the driveway. The driveway comes up and makes a big sweeping turn. I can move it over to the other side of the driveway, and it'll open up everything, so you'll be able to see everything. So Sevier County Electric's going to charge me $2,500 to move it. I just got to get some trees cleared in order to do it. So it's going to be worth doing, because I think I can make that up. But this is that property, and it's been booking like crazy. And we all talk about Airbnb, Verbo. This property is almost all Verbo right now, and I have no idea why that happened. If it was a trigger or something, but it's almost all of my bookings all these calendars, all these dates that are filled in are almost all Verbo. So I had some discounts built in here, and I went in and just took them all out a little while ago, and I'm going to go back and retweak them either tonight or tomorrow, just to kind of show some activity on it. But I definitely had some gaps in August. You can see I've got, this coming weekend, and then I've got a random Saturday night because I got a 2-night booking here. That sucks, but and I got a 2-night booking here. So I'll try to see if either these folks or these folks want to fill in that gap for me at obviously a discount. I won't charge them $400 for that Saturday night, but I'm certainly going to try that. And then my September's not looking too bad. I got a couple of weekends open because they're higher priced, but Sunday nights, a couple of Sunday nights open. Again, I'll try to tweak that by offering a lower price to get one of these other folks to fill it in. And then my October is probably 2 booked. It's all happened within the last probably 2.5 weeks. So I got weekends because they're priced a little bit high. So I'm going to leave those alone for right now. And I did get a Thanksgiving booking. No, I have that blocked. I take that back. That's not a booking. That's a block. I have Thanksgiving blocked right now at all my properties. So.
And what's the strategy there? You're just not ready for it?
Yeah, because I'm tweaking my pricing. I didn't want to accidentally drop the prices too low. It's something that's been talked about from some other folks to try to block it, up until pretty close and be the last guy standing and then get whatever you want. I'm not going that far, but I blocked them early in the year, and I just haven't gone back in and unblocked them yet. And I just want to make sure I price them right. But this is where, because I haven't been paying attention, I have been very guilty of being an absentee owner and just kind of set it and forget it. Like a lot of people got spoiled last year. Been pretty busy this year with other stuff, so I'm having to put more focus now. Blocking that, it kept me from accidentally doing something stupid. So now I need to go back in and pay a lot more attention. So that, that's that one. And a lot of my other stuff, some of it's fairly booked, some of it's very empty. So I try to go in and tweak everything. Like I said, I have been doing it once a week and maybe do it every few days here going forward, because I need to get some of these filled. This is an easy one. I've got some other places. I'll show you one of my Townsend. This is in Townsend, so it's a little bit different, similar size, but and this is one of the better. Well, this one's actually booked really well. This is one of the few in Townsend that's doing really well. That's actually 2 booked.
Yeah, there's nothing to do here. This is pretty glorious.
He's discounted. I just took all these blocks out because you can see what these prices probably locked in at. I don't know if that changed or not, but then here's one right next door to it that is not as booked. October started booking just in the last 2 weeks, so I need to keep tweaking.
Yeah, you got some work to do on September, but you're being really hard on that. I don't think that looks bad at all, really, for right now.
This is the first time I've looked at some of these. So now this one, again, right in the same neighborhood. Now this one's kind of weak for September, October. So I look across my portfolio. I have stuff. This is my 3-2 in Cobley Knob, which is very open right now. So.
Yeah, we've got some work to do here. What do we do here? This is giving me a bit of anxiety, to be honest. We've got to get some bookings here.
Yeah, so this one's rough. So I got to get in there and work on that. Like I said, I had some discounts in there. I just took them all out because I want to go in and kind of start over and start tweaking a little bit. Because yeah, this week I just got new photos of this place done this week, so I don't have them yet. So this is one that's been a focus for me, or about to be a focus for me, because it just hasn't been doing. It did great over the summer. It hasn't been doing well.
Yeah, we've got to do some work here. You're going to need to drop these rates here. I'm going to
Yeah.
190. I don't know the size or the square footage of this property, but I'm doing 199 blowout, and I'm putting it in my headline and my description everywhere. We got to
Yeah.
get this thing booked.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So this is where I'm at. This is my task for today. Tomorrow is to go through all of my lists, because you saw the other ones were looking good, but this is where I'm all over the place. So
Yeah, but this is a guy that's been doing this a while, and he's, you're not concerned about this.
well,
is a question.
Yes, I am. I'm concerned about it from the standpoint of I got work to do. I'm less concerned about it than I should be. And becomes the problem when you have a bunch of properties and you kind of go, well, I'll get to it because I got all these other ones that are paying my bills, and it's not a good attitude to have. So this definitely concerns me.
But not concerned in the aspect that what I mean there is that you're pretty confident that you can still get most of these fall dates filled up.
It just means I got work to do. I'm not concerned with the property. I'm not concerned with, anything big picture. It's concerning because it's low, because I have slacked off. It's my fault.
Got it. And I did want a couple of notes there. You can stop your share if you want. I did have one note that, there's a lot of folks that kind of do that wait till the last minute to get booked thing. And that can work in some cases. I think you need a little bit of experience before you play with that. And also I do want to mention that if you do that, you're going to get some, you're going to get maybe a little bit less quality guests. Cause my thing on that is like, okay, they booked whatever house was available. There was only one house available and they booked it. They don't even care. In other words, if they book it a month in advance, I'm talking about like Christmas specifically. If they book it a month in advance or 2 months in advance, they spent their time, pick the one that they really wanted for their Christmas. If they're last minute people, there's a decent chance that they just picked whichever one was available, and they're going to show up and be like, oh, this house stinks, because they didn't like actually choose it. They didn't have a choice. So we do need to be careful with that being too last minute, I guess is what my point is. Oh,
and that can go. You're not guaranteed that it's going to book just because it's Christmas. Yeah. I mean, I know people that get really aggressive with that, and a lot of times, it's just like people that go to the casino a lot, that you hear about all the winnings, but you don't hear about when it sits there empty on Christmas, and that does happen. So you got to be careful with it. It's be reasonable. I mean, there's plenty of money to be made here. You don't have to get rich on one Christmas on one property. So
yeah, I tried it last year for all the holidays, New Year's, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. And I ended up with one of my smaller properties, two of my smaller properties that ended up open on Christmas, because it was a small property, because I waited too long. So yeah, so definitely not something I recommend doing. It caused me some anxiety last year as well. So I'm definitely opening up a lot sooner this year than I was last year. Like I said, I do it initially, and the reality is I'm smarter to go in and do what you're doing, Luke, and that's just increase it a little bit, put a large night minimum, just make sure it's priced appropriately and not overthink it and not try to tweak it, like Tim said. I just have to go in there and start doing that.
And I've been on the other end of that, Derek, where I've forgotten to do that, and I didn't block it, and you get the Thanksgiving just got booked for $250 a night. You don't want to do that either, so you got to watch it. But
right,
it's easy to forget the stuff. This stuff it's easy to do, but it's easy to forget. Yeah.
And one more note before we move on, I did want to mention that I did not cancel that guest. I knew that if anybody were to happen to see this and say, "Well, Luke, you canceled a guest," oh my God, I did not. I did coerce them into canceling, of course, from their end, and we won't get into details on that one, but did not and will not ever cancel a guest. Let's check out. I've got just for sake of a new market here, 30A. And this is a townhome. Where is it? There it is. It's a 3-story townhome. Well, you can see right here how far it is from the beach. That's the beach right there, which is private. And it is a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2.5 bath. Pretty decent size at 1,800 square feet. And let's take a look at the calendar. Now, again, guys, beach, fall. Those two things don't really mix. You know, back to school, they're already done with the beach at this point. But if I do say so, my calendar looks pretty great. I'm not going to book this house for one night. A little too large for me to go one night on this thing. And then you've got September here with some holes to fill, but I'm not going to go any lower than those prices. That's probably rock bottom on this thing. I have enemy method the crap out of this, and almost every enemy I have is a manager, a third-party property manager. And you know, there's like 18 of these units that are identical, and I've noticed that the other ones, not all of them are for rent, by the way. Some of them are but I think that the rock bottom for the neighborhood is around 179. And if I put my numbers at that enemy method number where I'm competitive, I can win every time because my unit is nicer. I've updated some things, and I have the Smoky Mountain arcade game, which nobody has that here in this market.
Hey, Luke, you just touched on something there that I do too, with enemy method. And you're looking at, like, I always typically, like, during, like, that's a seasonality thing, you know, and off season, you just said you got the same as them. And I do that too. Like, I'll get the same or maybe even beat them by a little bit, but during busy season, it's the other way. I'll usually be higher, you know, because in a peak season, and then a property manager, you know, when you're looking at them, you know, so enemy method, you got to watch what season it is. You know, in slow season, I'll meet or beat them by just a little bit, and hot season, I'll get a little above or quite a bit above, depending on the property.
Yes, and we do want to reiterate the fact that you guys need to be, if you want to be competitive with your pricing, you need to be spending a decent amount of time on the enemy method. Even if it's been a while since you've enemy methoded your own house, it's time, you know, especially for changing seasons. And you need to, you need to know what your competitors are pricing this 3-bedroom townhome at right next to yours. Because if you don't know that, you don't know what to put yours at. You don't know what you can get, and it's very important. Same thing with long-term rentals, man. I'm doing that a lot lately. I've got a couple units that are turning, and I'm getting numbers that I never would have dreamed of on long terms right now. And if I hadn't been checking my enemies, I wouldn't know to even ask the numbers that I'm asking, right? So.
Hey,
again,
Luke,
yeah.
To back up what you're saying about kind of updating yourself on the enemy method, you know, using your techniques. I just had several clients come up to me and say, hey, you know, I'm not seeing the growth that I have this, you know, in the past 6 months as I have in the past 2 years. And I asked them again, when's the last time you enemy method? And the reason you're doing that is, you know, you're refreshing your view of your enemies, because they are improving their properties, their stays, their experiences are, you know, your neighbors are getting better. So you may need to recalibrate, reevaluate your property. If everybody has the same thing you do, okay, everybody's done the same renos that you have, then it probably boils down to a, you know, photography and price, or, you know, throw in another arcade machine, you know, something like that. So, you know, when you're adjusting your prices, you have to understand that if you haven't been, you know, upgrading your property for, you know, reevaluating it ever so often, that may impact your pricing and obviously your occupancy rate if you're just not keeping up. So staying on top of the enemy method, you know, it's not something you do once and forget it.
100%. And we hear this word saturation all the time, guys. And in our markets, the traditional sense of saturation doesn't happen because you would need to literally build like 700 properties exactly like mine right next to mine, or, you know, 100 to become saturated. But what we do have is more host owners. We call them stoners, right? So short-term owners. And that's good. It's keeping us on our toes. We're giving power back to the people. We're creating jobs with this asset class. And it's not, I mean, guys, Airbnb is not a freaking secret anymore. So if you're not checking on your enemies and keeping up on things, you're not going to make it, man. You gotta get in there and make yourself competitive. Excellent points. Let me pull up another back to this 3-bedroom townhome with the Smoky Mountain Arcade in 30A. I really don't think I could have done this calendar any better, frankly. I've been working on this one, guys, since like late May, early June, doing my tickles, and it's paid off. You know, I'm totally cool if these nights don't get booked. They probably will. This is a small enough house for one family. A one family can afford $180 a night in most cases, you know, so in some cases. So In October, honestly, looking pretty decent too. I've got some rock bottom end of October. Maybe not rock bottom, honestly. I could, again, this number is quite a bit lower than this number. So just talking out loud, what my brain sees when I look at this calendar, I think we can go ahead and get rid of this at this point, and maybe even and I think these numbers are pretty decent. Maybe I'll even go a little higher here and just get rid of that one and see what that does. You know, you just got to get in here and tickle. And let's go when this refreshes, because as we all know, Price Labs takes freaking forever. We'll go a little further in advance, because again, this is the fall special. I do want to mention again, guys, it's time to start thinking about January and February. Do we need to start like promoting it and like advertising it? No, but if you're looking at your calendar right now and your January is not even available, why? January is the hardest month to book, period, in every market that I'm aware of, except for maybe our high country, North Carolina, where there's, you know, if you're in a ski market, if you're in Colorado, an area where we don't know much about, that's fine. But in our markets in the Southeast, in vacation drivable areas, January is going to be across the board pretty much the hardest. February used to be on par. I already know it's going to be completely empty because this is on the beach, you know, but I'm going to talk about what we can do about this after I'm done with my speech here. I'm jumping all over the place. February used to be pretty on par with January. I think February's gotten a little easier now that we have MLK as an official holiday. Thank God, and we've got an actual day off of work for MLK. We've got Valentine's Day in February, so there is a little bit of action to be had in February. But what I want to point out here is that, guys, if you're thinking about August right now and September and saying, "Oh my God, I don't have anything in September," it's probably, you know, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's a little late to be worried about September right now. We need to be focusing on, okay, let's wrap up the best we can the rest of the holidays, November, December, and make sure, at least for right now, we need to make sure that January, February are available. Because if they're not available at all, then, I mean, that's a mistake. You got to get them at least, you know, you might get somebody way in advance that likes to plan way in advance that wants to come to the beach and hang out for a week and they're sick of the cold in Michigan or whatever, you know? So at least have them available. I think that what I need to do here, frankly, is what the problem is with this is that it's not doing my min and my min in January and February because it is so far in advance. And I might have some sort of customization because, of course, Price Labs has all these customizations. We're not here to talk about that, guys. Price Labs has their own YouTube channel. They got 8 billion, you know, and definitely go check them out. But that's not why we're here. What I do see here is that January and February on this property, even though it is so far in advance, they probably should be at my rock bottom number in the 189, 199, maybe 209 area. And they're a little high. So I'm glad I'm looking this far in advance. It's kind of like watching QVC. They're already pushing Christmas right now. Christmas is over on QVC. You know what I mean? They're bringing out, I'm just making this up. I don't know. Of course, occasionally I do actually watch it. Avery will tell you, and she makes fun of me all the time. I'm a big fan, but not big, but I do like it. They're probably already got the hearts and shit. You know what I mean? They probably already have the pink and heart throw pillows or whatever on the QVC. So again, guys, it's time to get over August and September right now, and we really have to start focusing on winter because it's coming and it's going to be cold. And then when this one rolls back around, good old March, that's when it starts to get easy again, especially on the beach. And really second, third week of March is when we can all kind of, you know, we can relax as far as the calendar is concerned, but we go back to the stress of the reviews and the guests at that point. So anybody else have anything to add, or if not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
No, I agree. You know, it's just like exactly what you said, January and February, you're talking supply and demand. There's way less people coming. So you want to be first, you know, and when there's tons of people coming, you know, Christmas time, there's tons of demand. You don't got to be the first one picked. You don't want to be the last one either, but you just got to think about that. You know, if there's 70% of the people coming, you want to be a little further at the front of the line. So
100%. All right. Great job, guys. Great talking to everybody. And I hope you enjoyed this and join us, theshorttermshop.com. We'd love to have you. And thanks again. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.